Good evening. This is Tia Sanders from Hope Chess Consultations. I hope you are doing wonderful and that you are living your best life. Today, I want to talk from the topic of grief. I know that it's not a fun subject, but I think it's very necessary that we address the topic of grief because everyone in their course of life is going to experience grief on different levels because we deal with loss on different levels. And what do I mean by grief? Grief, and don't quote me on it, but paraphrase, grief is the emotional or mental pain caused by the loss of something considered valuable. Loss could be you had your school ring and it meant the world to you because your dad purchased it for you and he's no longer here and you lost it. And so you begin to grieve and you're upset about that. But loss can be loss of a person, place, or thing. So you can lose items, you can lose positions, you can lose relationships, and we know that we lose people. And grief is a natural part of life. It's not something that we like to experience, but as long as we keep living, we're going to experience grief in some shape, form, or fashion. All grief is different. All grief is personal. There are psychological models in how to deal with grief, but I will say this to you. You don't just get over it. You have to process it and live through it. You have to learn from it. You have to grow from it. You have to heal from it. So depending on what you have lost will determine what your path through grief will be like. And I think we make the mistake of comparing our grief to someone else's or comparing our grief in one situation to this present grief. And anyone who knows me personally knows that in the last year, I've lost at least 3 people who were very near and dear to my heart in a 10-month period. And it was very difficult, and it's still difficult. And so I just encourage you, as I encourage myself, to really make sure that you're examining how your loss is affecting you. Many times we lose people that we love, and we are riddled with guilt, anger, fear, regret, and those are all normal feelings and emotions. We don't like to experience them, but they're very real. And it's okay if you feel that way. You have to be able to acknowledge it. You have to be able to express it. You have to be able to deal with it in order to be able to heal. Many times we lose things such as relationships. People go through divorce or have a really bad breakup, and it has a great impact on you. If you don't fully process that loss, you're bound to never heal from that. And if you don't heal from the loss of a relationship or a divorce, you can't be healthy in and of yourself and in another relationship that you may encounter. Sometimes loss is not tangible, and that's the hardest type of loss to experience when it's something that you dreamed about, something that you wanted, something that you won't be able to receive. Sometimes loss comes in the forms of things that we won't be able to achieve or didn't get. It may be pregnancy due to infertility. It may be a relationship that has not yet manifested the way you wanted, or it could be your career that isn't going the right way and you didn't get the promotion, you didn't get the career. Many feel like I didn't get the life that I wanted. Well, most of us could not have imagined some of the things that we've had to go through in life. And so my advice today regarding grief is that you face it, that you express it, and that you deal with it and all the emotions that come with it. There are models for grief and loss, the 5 stages of grief. Now that's a nice book model which says that when we're facing experiences where there is loss, we are in denial, then we get angry, then we try to bargain, then there's sadness, and then there's acceptance. Well, life is not always so simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grief, you're going to experience all of those emotions and many more. You're going to be stumbling. You're going to be angry. You're going to be confused. You might be isolated. You may feel guilty. You may feel disillusioned. You may just feel numb, that you just don't feel anything. And you wonder, is that normal? So you need to be able to process your grief in a way that is real and genuine to you. How do you know when grief is getting outside of the normal, air quotes on normal process? When your grief immobilizes you, when your grief begins to hinder you from being able to function in other areas of your life, such as other relationships or work or your physical health, that you are physically ill. Those particular types of areas where you no longer can function like you used to. And I don't mean that you're going to just go on after you've lost something that was significant to you or someone who was significant to you. Life just goes on and we live happily ever after. Life is never the same once you lose something because we can't replace it. We can't replace people and even opportunities or experiences. Once we've experienced it, we will always carry that experience with us. However, we can learn to live a new normal. If, in my case, today is the anniversary of a loved one's death today, and it's been some time. And I'll tell you, the first year was the hardest year of grief and loss because you will always remember what happened the year before, and you'll try to relive every experience. This last Christmas, this last birthday, this was the last time we went to Starbucks. This was the last time I saw them do this or that. And it eventually will get easier, but there is no definition of what that easier looks like or what time frame. I know individuals who have, it's been 10 years, and at anniversaries or birthdays, they still break down and cry. And if that's what you need to do. But I do encourage you that when you reflect on whatever loss it is, that you begin to see, how can I continue to learn from it? What can I do to begin to cherish the memories that I did have with that individual? How can I let that individual's life continue to live on? Such as in memorials, such as in investing in what they would have invested in, such as relationships or their children or this project that meant so much to them. Some people pick up new hobbies in dedication and run marathons in dedication in honor of their loved one. Whatever you need to do to help you to go through, and that is a key word today, is just to go through it. And being honest and being transparent, and that it's okay to say that I'm not okay. And so I hope today that even in this brief conversation, grief is a long topic. It is a extensive process, but I hope to encourage you, number one, to let you know that your feelings or emotions are legit, they're real, they're yours. You don't have to justify them, you don't have to explain them, you don't have to hide them. You simply live them. Live your truth. If you need to cry, cry. If you are angry, be angry. But you can be angry, but you don't have to act out that anger. You need to process that anger. You need to verbalize that anger. You need to be able to do something productive with what you're going through. And then most importantly, you need to take care of yourself. Self-care, especially during the times in which you are experiencing these emotions very intensely. And if you're in a position where you're constantly giving, you are a mother, you're a father, your work, your ministry, whatever it is that you're doing, your service, you volunteer, and you can't do it at the level that you used to do it. It's okay to take a break. It is okay to take a time out for yourself till you are able to function again in a healthy way, in a new way, in a different way. And so life may never be the same again, but life can still be good. You don't have to feel guilty for living. You don't have to feel guilty for going on, because your loved one would want you to. They wouldn't want you to just shrivel up and not exist because they are no longer here. Or if that opportunity that you wanted, or that relationship that you wanted, or whatever it was that is causing you to experience grief, you can't stay stuck in that position. You may not know how to get out of that position. That's where you may need to seek some support of counsel, whether it's in a faith-based community, a minister, a pastor, whether it's in a professional community, a therapist, whether it's good friends who you can be honest and transparent with, and you don't have to feel ashamed. You don't have to keep it together all the time. So I encourage you to reach out and to express how you feel and to seek help. But know that life continues to go on and it's okay. And you can still honor the loved one. You can live through your loss and you can continue to grow even in the process. And it'll be a dual process. One moment you may feel like things are getting back to normal, and then the other moment things never feel the same. And that's perfectly okay. So I hope that you've been encouraged today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.